Good morning, all. Hello, 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 hello. I'm out in the garden now, and I've got the actual flowers in front of me again today. And of course, this now is going to be a swift morning practice, as Adrienne says with her yoga. Oh, I'm not really fully prepared here, so I'm just gonna do what I can. I guess. Oh, at least I've got my microphone on. Hopefully, it's working. Um, and really, I just wanted to do something on this painting because the flowers gloriously are still staying alive. I suppose it's cool out here, and so there's lovely things happening with them. What am I going to do now? I suppose I might even just start by I'm using oil paint for the first time today now on this painting, I mean, and I have got my brushes and my low odor, sans odor, um, you know, what you call that, the thinner. So I've got myself set up in terms of being ready for using the oil paint. I'm just wondering what colours to put out and where to begin with it. I think I'll just start by making a blue and brown mix in order to do some of the darks in between the leaves and around the pot there, because it's significantly um, there's a significant contrast between light and dark with the black. As I say, I put my jacket hanging up there behind the flowers, so it's a black jacket that's hanging up behind, but you can't see the edges of it in my painting, of course. Um, because I liked the really dark black background against the beauty of the flowers. I couldn't find my glasses this morning now, so I'm kind of working a little bit blindly. Um, but this is going on really dark, so that's good. I mean, I don't know if I would use my glasses from this distance anyway. It might be good for me to sit back and consider the whole thing rather than get involved in any detail. No, so the nasturtium will have moved a little bit, and I think I'm going to just paint. I'll kind of shift it a little bit. Well, I suppose I'll do it. I don't like to try and make things up. If things are in a position in the still life, um, I like to try and put them there in my painting, even if it means like changing things because the flowers have moved. It's been nearly I think it might have been a week since I started this, and I had thoughts that I would complete it the following day. That kind of unrealistic pressure that I realize I sometimes put on myself was one of the it was that was happening here with this painting. But um, thankfully the flowers have stayed alive, and so I didn't feel like there was a huge urgency on me to keep coming out. And I also actually gave up the um, insistence that I do it, that I finish it from life. When I took the photo of it, I thought actually it's come out fine in the photograph, and I can remember the beauty of them without having to sit there in front of them. And then, lo and behold, when I came out, they were still alive. So there was no major drama there. Now, what am I doing? I can't really see it unless I go to the left here. Am I in your way then? No. Okay. There's a kind of a sheen on the surface of the painting, and I can't see what I'm doing unless I move this way. I'm just filling in some of the spaces, the dark spaces in between the lovely Crocosmius there. I was at book group last night, and my friend Jackie was saying that she was at a weaving workshop in Inverness last year. I think it was Inverness, and she said they learned um, how to make twine and string and eventually rope if you wanted to from plant matter, uh, and things like from your own garden, like things like Crocosmius, and if you have heather growing, little bits of heather, um, and just tiny bits of plants. It was that we were talking about the nettle dress, which I went to see. A beautiful film about a man who made a dress from fibres of nettles growing around his house. over 7 years he made a dress from these nettles. And so we were talking about that, and she mentioned this artist, Caroline something, can't remember her surname, but it sounds like she was incredible. That she's been doing this kind of thing for a long time. She lives on Skye, making thread from natural fibres. I don't know if I'm using the right terminology now. It mightn't be called thread, twine, I don't know. Anyway, we're going to try and do that at the next workshop. But she mentioned how with crocosmius you can make a lovely, and with dandelions as well, that you can make a lovely thread that you can later weave and to make it into a little basket, or you can make things with it. Obviously, wrap your presents for Christmas. So instead of book club, instead of book group next month, or maybe alongside it, we're going to go to Jackie's house and do some thread making. She said that she's got quite a lot of things from her garden. Sorry, no, I just moved it that way because I'm tired of leaning to my left, and I want to be able to see what I'm doing. So I know it's made it a little less clear for you now. I'm also waiting for my alarm to go off. I only have 14 minutes this morning because 14 because I'm taking Lily to an appointment, and I need to get her up and get myself dressed. So I just wanted to touch in here, and it's lovely to be outside. The rain is falling. It's supposed to be heavy rain all day today, so it's kind of nice to start the day by being outdoors. And I've left the door open. I've got my cozy dressing going on as usual. It'll be a trial again to take it off before heading out today. But it's nice to sit here too. The air is cold, but the sounds and everything are lovely, and I'm comfortable here. I've got a nice comfy chair to sit in, and it's just good to feel like I'm not always invading the living room with my paints. I like having a bit of creativity happening in the belly of the house, the heart of the home. Having some creative color and action happening in there feels right, actually. But there's a limit too. I could do with a bit of a clean up inside. In fact, I've been kind of threatening to get somebody to come and help cleaning, because I think sometimes in this day and age we just can't do everything. Well, I know we can't, and so I thought I might get that would be a lovely gift to myself, to have somebody come once a fortnight or something to just do the hoovering and all that kind of carry on. We'll see. I certainly found it fierce helpful this year to have someone do my garden, cutting the grass once every 2 weeks. It was such a blessing. You hear that rain now? Heavy rain all day is forecast. Right? Things have changed a lot in terms of the position of the leaves and everything, so I don't want to start to slavishly follow where everything is, but I'd like to get some of the colour, the richness of the leaves. I'll get another brush, I'd say, because this one now is all dark. So I'm going to try and find some colour to represent the flowers and maybe the leaves. Let's see now if I can find a colour that'll make those leaves. That'll be a good place to go next, I think. Might be kind of cadmium yellow, maybe. I'll show you when I've got it on the palette. It's the cadmium yellow there. And if I mix that, funnily enough, I feel like cerulean blue is a good colour. It's cerulean blue there. I think it's a good colour to mix with the yellow sometimes to make the colour of the nasturtium leaves. I don't know, was I calling them crocosmias there? Let's see now. So I'll start with that, and I'll start with these two and see what will happen. Yeah, it's not a bad colour. There may need to be white in there as well or something. I'll try the white in there too to lighten it a touch more. But I'm kind of reluctant often to resort to using white to lighten a colour, because I think the brightness is important, and sometimes the brightness can be subdued by the white. So it's a kind of a a bit of a play around to find the satisfying shade. Yeah, like it looks to me like that leaf has extended out and up, so I can afford to make it go this way, I think. It's a bit more of a plateau now that ends like that. And let me see if I'm making a good color. I'm going to mix a little bit more of the whole lot. I could do with a bigger brush for this job, just laying it down fairly succinctly, but I suppose I want to see first if it's going to be a good color. Not bad. I'm going to try making it a lot brighter. There, you can't see. I'm going to try making it a lot brighter and see. Like when I hold the palette up to it, not far off, you know. Of course, it might read as being very different when I put it on the painting, but here, when I hold it, the color up, it looks true enough to what I'm looking at. Let's see. Yeah, it feels good. It feels good in my belly when I get a color that's bright enough, you know. And to pull the shape of it over the dark a bit now, so it's kind of, it's dodgy because the dark is still wet underneath. Okay, I need to get myself another brush, I think. This is still the same brush, but after taking the paint off it, I thought I could use it to clear the surface a little bit. Okay. Oh, there's my alarm. I'll give myself another minute or two. I had kind of factored that in. I say kind of because really I could do it just anyway. It's okay. I'm just gonna carry on with this leaf while I've got the color on my brush. And there's a few over here that are lovely and bright as well. And the one up higher is a little bit more yellowish somehow. One up here, I think it might be about here in the midst of the dark. Can't really tell. It's a little bit dark for me painting it. And you know, that same green is available over here too on the stem of that lovely flower. At least it's equally bright anyway, whether it's exactly the same green, I don't know. But it's a lovely bright colour. And really I would like to work it to make it thinner on the brush. I'm kind of rushing myself a little bit. Okay, so I've scooped up a thinner layer of it now for other places. Kind of bright in there too, between the petals of that lovely pink flower, which I've yet to discover the name of, and which I plucked illegally probably from the ditch down the road. It had spilled out from someone's garden, so I feel like it's not the same as taking a wildflower at least. Alright. And the thing now that I still have that brush that had the dark colour on it. And just so that I clear up that position for myself, I'm going to put the dark around it again. You know, having changed the position of the leaf from where it originally was, I want to further emphasize its edge where it meets the dark. And you know, the stem too has changed, like it's going this way now, down there, over and up. And that stem won't be as bright as the leaf is, but it'll be something that I'll emphasize a bit more clearly next time, I reckon. Trying to find the edge of things here. I bought my hot cup of tea and I've had no drink of it. You can see my air, the breath in my body is making steam, and so is the steam from the cup making that kind of. You can see I don't know if you can see it drifting up. Anyway, it's nice to have the two, the contrast of the cool and the warm, and the contrast of the dark and the light. Contrast is where it's at, isn't it? Now, the thing is that this is actually dropped down lower, so there's some things I'm going to need to sacrifice. I can't be changing every single thing. And I think for me, it's more the colour and light that I'm mostly fascinated with. So I'm going to sacrifice a little bit the position of that Crocosmius leaf. Unless the next time I come back and I'm determined to get it exactly where it is. But sure, then it might have changed again. And there's another one there. Yeah, there's some lovely darks and lights throughout this whole image, really. Stems that are twisting in the midst of the leaves, and some of the stems being fierce bright and others being fierce dark. And the background being the darkest of all, so that's a kind of a helpful anchor to have. There's a lovely light Crocosmius leaf here. It's even brighter than that really now. And point here as well, but I can get the shape of it later. I just want to find the brightness of it. And really I better go now and get dressed. Get out of my dressing gown. Step into the day. Yeah, that's annoying me a little bit because it's maybe not as bright and not as the position isn't right, and it does irritate me when the position isn't right. Like I keep saying I'm not too bothered by it, but actually I am. So I'm just going to take a bit off the bottom there because it feels like it's just too big a shape. And also that the tilt of it might go more like that. Yeah. Oh, I've got it. Some on there. Just wipe that off. Okay. Anyway, that's been good. It's been helpful to come out here and know that it's not so hostile an environment, even in the heavy rain. In fact, it's kind of it's one of those sounds that I love, the sound of the rain falling. So it's nice to know that it's an attractive option for me in the morning to come out and paint here. And I don't know if you can really see an awful lot of what I did, really. Let me just bring it over a bit closer to you. There's the contrast of the oil paint does make it a richer painting, I think. I'm looking forward to doing something in the nasturtium flower as well. So thanks for being with me, and I'll see you tomorrow. See, microphone. How's that for professional? Okay, have a lovely day. All the best.